we are all an expression of love. Love is the frequency and the current that runs through life. And we are an expression of God or the universe that is experiencing itself in this 3D reality, in the human experience, which is such a gift. The art of becoming is a devotional path of returning to the sacred aliveness of the heart of being human, unconditioned and unwavering in love across the 9 realms. Understanding that we are divine beings. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And this is it's so powerful to remember that and to know that our connection to God is not outside of ourselves, it is within us. And so mindfulness is attending to what is actually happening and not what the ego mind is narrating about it. All of these stories or narrations or patterns that we have come from experiences that we've had in our life that the ego then attaches a story to, and that then becomes a repetitive loop that we experience over and over again in our life until we integrate the experience and understand that the story attached to the experience isn't really a part of the essence of who we are. And so it creates that limitation for us to be able to transcend beyond into the most fullest version of ourselves. So the ego loves to have a story and be stuck in that story. It doesn't want to transcend it. It wants to keep you in that loop. And so the practice of mindfulness is really being able to be witness over and over again to what those patterns are so that we can keep coming back into our hearts, into ourselves over and over again, not trying to fix or judge the ego, because the ego is not right or wrong. It's just there. And so it's not about, trying to stop it, but just about always being in witness to what is the reoccurring thought patterns that are coming up and what does that mean for you in your journey of becoming? What does that mean for you as you want to let go into manifesting the life or the version of yourself that you're calling in? When we get into the body and we really feel it brings up memories, it brings up the spaces inside of ourselves that we have held onto. And so when we move and we have somatic inquiry inside of us, for me, in healing and transformation, somatics has been one of the most foundational pieces of really being able to transform, because we hold all of our pain body and our trauma or painful experiences in the body. And so when we're triggered, the response first comes from the body and then the mind makes story of it. And so when we use somatic practices like movement, breath work, somatic inquiry, we're able to really go into the feeling of what is arising in resistance or in pain or in sadness, to be with that feeling and to really feel into what does this part of me need, or what is it saying to me? Most of us believe that the mind perceives everything, that subconsciously we are perceiving most of our environment through the mind, but actually our heart field is way bigger than the mind field, and that actually our heart field perceives everything before our subconscious and into the mind. Also, we've learned that the vagus nerve that runs through the body that brings us regulation, most of that is wrapped around the heart. And so actually most of our regulation in our body is not coming from the mind, but it's coming from our heart space. And so a lot of this is like, how are we connecting more to our heart space as the heart's intelligence?
And we all know that, science is even proving how energy actually manifests as disease and illness, and how when it's blocked or stored, it actually begins to disrupt the tissue and the bone, and then we have big problems. And it's all well and good to go, just tune in and see what that is, but how do we actually still the mind or come into mindfulness? And, for a lot of people, meditation is really hard. Maybe we have busy mind, maybe we're big thinkers. And I'd love to share a practice actually. that resonates for people with busy mind, and it's actually hacking consciousness. Because if we can't sit and go chill out with a tree and come into presence, then we're going to have to like hack our own mind. So this practice is called the backwards review. And what it's actually doing, because our mind is always moving in a forward automated motion, a lot of it is unconscious. A lot of it is handed down from like what we've learned from our parents, programs like TV, right, all this noise, and we're constantly moving in this forward motion of consciousness. This practice of the backwards review, the whole idea of that is to create stillness. Because once we have stillness, we can actually attune to our heart's electromagnetic field and our intuition. So this practice is what you do is you go backwards through your day. So right now, I'm sitting here, I'm going backwards through my day, right to the point when I woke up. I had breakfast, I had a coffee, I took a shower, all the way backwards. What you'll notice is that the mind will feel very challenged and it will want to go, oh, I missed a thing, oh, I did this. It will want to jump back in that forward automated process again. And so you keep trying to take it backwards, almost like you're rewinding a movie. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys did this when you were younger, but when you were in a pool and you made the water go around and around like that, and then you'd stop and then you'd go the other way. And there was a moment where the water would just still and then it would go the other way. That is the window that you want. That is the sacred pause. And what you're actually doing is you're teaching the consciousness something new because it doesn't go backwards. So even if I threw my tea at you, which I would never do. Let's just say I threw my tea at you and I offended you. If you reviewed that in a backwards motion, you'd be like, she threw the tea at me, then she called me this, and then this. There would be no emotional charge because the consciousness is going backwards. It has no automated thought programs to attach to. So it's in pure observation. So here we're actually teaching the consciousness to be in observer mode completely. And once we're teaching it this and we practice this, then we can actually get into stillness. And what you'll notice is if you practice this over 7 days, 21 days, you will come into that presence. And then from there, your intuition, mindfulness, the heart's electromagnetic field or the heart's intelligence of like what you're feeling. And that's where you can go in super deep. So my invitation for you guys is to practice this for 7 days consecutively. And at nighttime is the best. And even if you fall asleep doing that, that is wonderful because your consciousness keeps ruminating about that in the sleep, which actually is anchoring it into the conscious awake state. So practice it for 7 days, 7 nights, or if you want to go super deep, go 21 days and you will notice you'll be like a rock. You'll notice that stillness actually comes into that pause. And you can get this really clear intuition. You can get downloads, you can feel what your body's feeling, and you'll notice that orderly essence really anchoring. I think the easiest way to explain resonance and how we experience resonance as well is on a really, really entry level. We know how we can affect or we can be affected by the energy that we're with or around. But also I think the best explanation is how we work with nature. And the saddest thing that I feel is how we feel so disconnected from nature. Or maybe we associate that we are just beings that are in nature. But on a very explanatory level with resonance is, we go to a river and when we actually sit in that river, we feel like, oh, it's cleansing. It's actually washing away all my energy and it's taking it. But actually on an energetic level, that particular river and waterfall has a unique measurable frequency or electricity. And just like a river will go around a corner like this and turn, it creates a vortex. That vortex creates a measurable energy that you can go, wow, this is the frequency of that particular corner of the river. Now, our bodies, we know, are mostly water and not H2O, it's H3O3 and silicon and crystal base. We're also full of salts and minerals, so we're highly conductive, we're electrical beings. And something that you were explaining with the heart is creating this beautiful electromagnetic field, which is creating our toroidal field, which is actually activating the Merkaba in the heart and our Vesica Pisces and so on. A lot of geometry in the field. But what's actually happening is that when we are actually in this river, we're coming into bioresonance of that river. We're attuning to the exact frequency of that river. And so this is why we feel so cleansed and so grounded. It's not that it's like washing away physically all this energy, we're attuning to it. Just like the ocean and the scalar waves, just like a tree and its field. We're literally going to these places and shifting our frequency. So I think this is like the most explanatory and provable explanation of resonance, is how we actually resonate and attune to nature. We actually have this substance in our brain called magnetite, and it's a nanoscale magnetic crystal, which is actually made by our gut bacteria. And this magnetite, it actually deposits around the pineal gland, the temples, and different locations in the brain. Whales have it. It's how they navigate exactly their course and navigate the ley lines. Birds have it in their beaks and their brain. It's how they also do their migration course, but it's also how they are tuned to the piezoelectric field, and they can predict tsunamis, earthquakes, things like that. I've been doing lots of studies around how we actually have the primal function and foundation of using this magnetite in our brain to be connected to nature. And if you think back in the tribe days, we would be able to predict weather cycles, natural disasters. We would feel when there was a predator coming up behind us. That wasn't just through the third eye, that was through the magnetite, which is a receptor in tune with our biofield. Now, the biofield's function is to understand the environment and the energy around it. Am I safe? What is this? Who's that energy? What am I reading? Is it mine? Is it not mine? It's like this big computing system that is constantly digesting information, and it's coming in through the magnetite. So our answer, apart from detoxing and cleansing, is going back to nature and attuning our field back to being receptive to actually feel what is it that we're feeling, our intuition. And when you think about the ocean, we've got the scalar wave there as well. And the ocean is like very electrical. And for a tree, that is like presence and stillness. And so you'll notice a difference. You'll hop out of the ocean, you'll feel invigorated, you'll feel refreshed, you'll feel clear. You go sit with trees, you feel deeply rooted and grounded and still. And they're different frequencies, so they can be different medicines.
We have so much evidence that the heart field is actually connected to a field beyond time and space, which is our higher self. And so we are multi-dimensional beings, and our experience right now is orchestrated, divinely orchestrated.
Something that I've been diving deep into is ancient civilizations and ancient history, and what the medicines they were using, what was the function of the temples. And on a very basic level, we know that the functions of these temples were built on huge ley line crossover points, where you've got a convergence of energies coming in, it creates a vortex, very powerful space. And within these different temples, they were also doing different elixirs, different plants, anything that could take them into higher consciousness. Now, the thing that actually got me into learning about this magnetite was discovering monoatomic gold, which we will have, that originates in Egypt. And when I started studying these texts and these hieroglyphs, there was great stories about how they would drink cups and cups and cups of this monoatomic gold. And they would depict, well, they would call it the colostrum of the gods, the breast milk of the gods. And they would also call it the elixir of immortality. I'm like, oh, what do you mean immortality? Like, you live forever. And what I actually think that was referring to was a super boosted immune system, very, very healthy, no sickness, no illness, just very purified in the body. And they would also talk about it enabling them to become the rods to God. They would have direct communion with spirit and these higher dimensions. So they were in these temples, on these huge ley lines, built in sacred geometry. Within them was like Holy of Holies, like these really cool crystal obelisks. And they were drinking gold because they were having direct access to higher spirit. But what I actually think that was happening was that they were cleaning all of this magnetite in their body and amplifying it, because monoatomic gold is electrical. It amplifies, it compounds with the body, and it builds, it doesn't pass through. So for me, I'm like, the monoatomic gold actually just flushes the brain, but it also boosts the body. So then all of a sudden you've got really good gut health, you've got really good immune, there's no inflammation. So you're letting the body do what it wants to do so that we can actually operate at our optimal function rather than super boosting something. Another beautiful question that I often get asked is how to connect to our higher self, which I know all of you guys have heard and probably connected in tune with already. And something that goes a little bit deeper is that the knowledge that we actually have 12 dimensions of our higher self. But in the 12 dimensions of higher self, this is the top. And so we always are streaming that golden thread of consciousness to the here and the now. We have that direct access. And it's my belief that in this process of awakening and our spiritual journey, we're not meant to, transcend out of the body and go up there. We're meant to vibrate at the density of our body. So clearing the traumas, releasing the emotions, purging, gaining awareness so that actually more of that higher self can land and be in the here and the now and emanate and actually be here. And this is what the art of becoming is all about, is embodiment. It's not like, oh, I've embodied this modality. It's like, no, we're embodying more of our higher self, which means we need modalities and all these tools to actually get to that state. But I feel like this is the future of biohacking and longevity, actually. And, we should be coming back to our origins. We should be looking at what the ancients were doing, and they lived longer. They had more access to spirit. They had more access to self and nature. And so if we just kind of shift our little trajectory that way, as you guys are really diving into as well and exploring, I feel like all our answers are there.